everybody. Welcome to the Heed Army podcast. Say first of all, apologies for the last two shows we've had advertised. Circumstances have stopped us from being able to do it, of course. Say back tonight, and we've got a guest coming on, Halifax fan, Luke. He also has a podcast as well on the National League. He has a lot of people on. I think he was talking to the Dorking manager the other night and chairman. So we'll be talking to him to preview the game tomorrow. We'll also be having a little look back at the Maidstone game as well, because it was the first win of the season. I think it's only right we look back at it. There's some good goals and a lot of players returned to form as well. I think Greg Ollie looked fantastic in that game. We'll be talking about that. Also as well, we'll probably preview and talk a little bit about the Boreham Wood game. Plus, we probably won't be able to broadcast before then, but we will be providing full match commentary of that next Saturday. I'll be joined by Mark Carruthers, and we're going to have lots of things to talk about. So we've got messages coming in. It is a fully interactive show. This is how you do it. Send in your message on the live chat wherever you're watching, whether it be on Facebook or on YouTube, and bring your messages like this. And David Tron has put, evening, lads. Great to hear from. We've got Mason Ford as well. I say thank you very much. Even lads, how you doing? So, yeah, we're doing all right. As plodding along, aren't we, Mickey?
Trying my best to, mate.
Definitely are. And Craig's, but even lads, you okay? Good result against Maidstone, wasn't it? Certainly was. Well, let's get into that and put it on in the background. Of course, the footage supplied by Kids FC TV, YouTube. Do subscribe to them as well. And while you're at it, subscribe to us, help us reach more people. But from the very get-go, Mickey, this felt like Gateshead of last season. We were dominant in possession. We looked dangerous. We were carving out chances. And look at this. I mean, Paul Blackett was just having the defenders' lives in the pace race. And it was a beautiful game to watch.
It was a good game to watch. Not if you're from Maidstone, obviously. But they've been threatening to do this all season, to be fair.
Yeah.
We've been in, how was it? How many we played now? 7, I'm not sure now. 7 games, I think it is. We've been in all 7.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we won the 7th one, but the 6 before that were all in them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we haven't been like outclassed. I mean, that was a beautiful finish there by Paul Blackett.
Oh,
I mean,
it's fantastic. It was a great goal, lad.
The ball from Ollie, and then this finish, I just dinked it over. Beautiful.
Outside of the foot now.
Yeah.
Great turn inside, nutmegs the defender, and thinks with the keeper with the outside of his foot. You can't ask for more than that.
We certainly can't. I mean, I feel for the keeper in them situations, because they're in no man's land because of the work that was done by Blackett to get himself in that position. But yeah, it's just a fantastic performance. And every time he went forward, he looked like he was going to get in on goal when he's with the ball. And that man as well there, Campbell, just put that one a little bit deeper than what he would have liked. But another great performance from Adam. I mean,
started on fire, any.
Yeah, I mean, but obviously himself and Blackett now currently on 4 goals apiece. You know, a lot was said about, and still is in certain quarters, about Langstaff and Kedwin leaving. Look, that's ancient history. They're going on doing good things. Great for them. But these lads are stepping up and they're filling the boots at the minute. And let's not forget, it's been a step up and we're holding ourselves well and scoring goals now. And you can't ask for anything more. And look, I mean, that was a beautiful tackle there as well from Kenton Richardson. He's been an absolute revelation.
Oh, yeah. So that's, well, him, Blackett and Campbell have started the season on fire.
Yeah, I mean, that one was just inches away there.
He's, and you've got to remember, Dave, we've lost, with poor Jarvis hasn't had to kick the ball in anger, and Lewis Knight and Aaron Martin's only played a game and a half, is it? 2.5 games?
Yeah.
He's been injured. The squad kind of look quite tasty when them lads come back.
Of course, and we add into the mix a new signing, Adi Yusuf as well, Tanzanian international, obviously played with Yeovil, Chesterfield, Wrexham, to name a few. Had a great spell at Solihull Moors a few seasons ago, which earned him a move into the Football League. It didn't work out, but the lad looks big, he looks strong, he looks fast. And, we mentioned about Aaron Martin adding a little bit more to the attack. To have 2 big lads up there with the selection of strikers we have already it's a really nice it's a nice selection, isn't it, to pick from for the
selection head
management.
you could make and busted to make. And if you look on Twitter, the Adil Yusuf comments weren't exactly complimentary, were they?
I didn't.
I'll make my own
I seen a
decision.
couple. Yeah, I'd rather. I mean, I'm not being funny. We've had players in the past, and people have asked for how they've been. You've went, oh, good luck with that, and they've went on and had a fantastic career away from Gateshead. And the lad can do it at this level. He's proved he can do it at this level. Look, he's had a few moves in a few years in a time that was not the greatest for footballers. He's playing behind closed doors a lot of the time as well, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Let's put like brass tacks down. Yeovil aren't the club they were. They're in a transitional period. They've had a lot of relegations in successive seasons, and they're back in the National League from the Championship they were in not so long ago. So they've got high standards, what they're looking at, and if people aren't hitting the ground running, well, their loss is hopefully our gain. That's the way I look at it.
Like I say, I won't pass judgment until I've seen the lad play myself.
Exactly, so. and we talk about Mike Williamson and Ian Watson and the team. They vet the players before they bring them in, and he seems an absolutely fantastic, beautiful person. He has a charity in his name to help people in Tanzania. Hopefully we can get him on and talk about that. He seems like he's cut from the cloth, that the type of players we go for. So, as I say, reserve judgment, and hopefully we'll see you can do his talking on the pitch in a Gateshead shirt. We've got loads more messages coming in. When is Martin back? I think he'll be back tomorrow, or in contention at least. Hello, gents. Bit gutted the Chesterfield game being called off, but very good performance against Maidstone. Cannot wait to see the lads perform against Halifax on Tuesday. Yeah, we'll be speaking to Luke, the Halifax fan, very soon, and talking about that. We've got Cow Daly. He's put good to see he's back. Thank you very much for everyone to join us. Also, as well, I've got to have some feedback from some people. Change things up on the commentary a little bit. We've been adding in like videos beforehand in the build up. We might broadcast a little bit longer, half an hour before, if we can get our own interviews, which we'll hopefully be able to do in the coming weeks and put them out. But were people a fan of the live webcam during the game? Obviously, we cannot face it to the pitch at all when there's any live action going on. We can put it on half time, post pre and post match, but were people a fan of seeing crowd movement and the reaction of the crowd during the game? Would they like that, or would they prefer the actual just plain screen? So if you could let us know, we'd like some feedback. We're always trying to improve it. We're always trying to do new things, and we want to make it
at half time.
Yeah, well, that would be the good thing, because we have been putting up highlights of the podcast. We are broadcasting to 3 places tonight. We've put it into the Gateshead FC Heed Army group, but it isn't bringing up actual Facebook users there, so you have to put your name if you comment if you're watching from in there. But this one's from Joey from the West Peterborough supporters. Good luck tomorrow, lads. I'll be there cheering on in person. Well, fantastic. Hopefully a good following down there. It's one of the shorter journeys, but look at this ball over the top. I mean, Alan, when he come on, looked absolutely rapid, looked on fire, and credit to the lad. He tried to get Blackett his hat-trick, didn't he? He laid off 2 or 3 good chances to get Blackett his hat-trick.
Owen Gallagher had a good game as well.
He looks good as well.
Really well.
Yeah, and also as well, I mean, let's say that Owen Bailey, he switched drop back to centre back, and then Jevon Mills come on as well, because we had the 2 injuries in centre of defence. Magny and Kenton Richardson having to go off, one at half time, one after half time. Jevons looked like a young Mike Williamson, very comfortable on the ball, could move it nicely. And I say just there, that Greg Ollie goal, how fantastic is to see him getting back on the assists and scoring as well.
I mean, I was joking on saying it was a cross, but it's a great finish, absolute great finish. He's killed it with and just bent it around the keeper. It's excellent.
I mean, here you are. Look, this is where he lays it off. You wouldn't have complained if he went for a shot himself. He had done all the hard work. But yeah, I mean, It's easy to say in hindsight, Mickey. It's easy to say in hindsight. We've got more messages coming in here. We've got Cow Daily put, I would love that the webcam would be mint. I'm out of area at the minute, so it'd be like to see and feel more part of it. Sean Parry, hi guys, love the live feed and the crowd gives a good experience for home games. Well, we'll continue to endeavour and do that, and if people like it, we'll carry on doing it. And also we'll try and get interviews and hopefully get some fan interviews at halftime. That would be pretty good, or even viewer interviews. We could talk to somebody live that's listening in from around the world. We could do that. That would be a good idea, I think. So if anyone's up for that lives around the world, expat, let us know and we can get you on live at halftime and get your thoughts and views. I think that would be a good little addition to the podcast. I mean, we would do a post-show, but it's cold and you want to get away from the game, and also the stadium closes down, so we can't just sit in an empty stadium broadcasting. But I think 2.5 hours of broadcasting is enough once we get the game out of the way. But yeah,
the club did interviews and BBC Newcastle did interviews.
Yeah, I think covering live stuff is all right. But remember, we'll be doing that on Saturday with Mark Carruthers as well against Boreham Wood. But just going back to the Maidstone game, I mean, yes, they pulled one back at the end. It was a fantastic header. There was two defenders went up. I said the wrong one in commentary, but if you watch the angle of the goal, it's very hard to see who actually gets the final contact of it, especially from the position we were in. But needless to say, it's a bullet header. But the lads, I mean, it would have been nice to end with a clean sheet, but to win by 3 goals at home, you kind of complain.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. You end up picking if you complain at a 4-1. I mean, Mike and Busted probably were a little bit disappointed to let that goal in, but as a fan, and if you scored 4 goals, you kind of didn't mind one going in there.
No, not at all. And I mean, look at the movement, look at the passing there. It was just an absolute joy on Saturday. And if Blackett had got the hat trick, it would have been the icing on the cake. But you can't be too greedy at all. But we are going to be joined by our guest very shortly. We're going to quickly play some adverts. We'll put it on to see the goal that they scored there. Whereabouts is it? I think it's up here, coming up there. Oh, just went past it.
So, I don't want to see that goal anymore.
Do you not want to see it? Okay, we'll turn it off. We'll go with the masses. Right. Well, we'll be back in a second. We're just going to play an advert and then we'll bring our guest in to join us. So this is Northern Print Solutions. Without their help, you wouldn't be able to broadcast. And we'll be back very, very shortly. Well, as you can see, we've been joined by Luke, our resident Halifax fan for today. And of course, he does the National League podcast as well on YouTube. So, Luke, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, yeah, cheers for having me on the podcast. Much appreciated.
Oh, no, thank you very much. Last year you had a good season in the National League. You were flying high and looking good.
Yeah.
This season, very different story. What do you think's been the key factor in that?
I think just the massive, significant turnaround that we've had from the players. The significant losses that we've had. For example, Billy Waters, 20 goals he scored last season. Kieran Green in that midfield. Our defence was basically raided. To sides, and then obviously losing your manager. Is a big. It's a massive turnaround at the end of the day. Yes, we've got the assistant who was there last season, so you've got that sort of continuity. But it's still a massive loss losing someone like Pete Wild, who's obviously gone to Barrow now in the Football League. And it just feels like we're not consistent. We don't know our best 11 at the moment. We've got a bigger squad than we usually have. I think we've invested highly more than we usually do because of last season. And, we've cashed in on a few players who departed from the clubs last season. So we've got a bigger squad this season. But it just doesn't seem like we know our best 11. There's a lot of players, there's a few players, in fact, that haven't actually yet featured in the team. And I think the star players from last season that are still with us and the players that were here last season are the ones who performed, the best when they've played. And, Warburton, I think he's going to be back tomorrow. He's a very good player, one of the key players in the previous campaign. So that's someone you should keep your eye out for.
Yeah, and also as well, there's a name familiar to Gateshead fans. Of course, that's joined you in the summer in Jack Hunter. Has he got much of a run in the team yet?
You know what? He hasn't particularly yet. I didn't go to Maidenhead away, and I've missed Wheelstone away, and they're the two I've missed this season. And I think it was, which game was it now? Scunthorpe away, he started. And obviously we won there. And I was really impressed with him in that midfield. He was sort of like that missing sort of piece, I thought, in the midfield. I really liked him. He was spraying passes along, good with his feet, did a lot of the dirty work as well.
Yeah,
I was actually really impressed with him as well. And, I think he was the first signing of the summer. There was a lot of did he particularly get in at Gateshead? Why we signed a player like him? But when I've seen him play, he's been brilliant in my opinion.
Yeah, I felt he was always unlucky at Gateshead. He was,
Yeah.
he never ever let us down, and can also play centre back, if needed, and very good in the air as well. And it was one of those ones when he left, you were like, but you can understand it. Gateshead's got a very strong midfield,
Yeah.
and for him you'd have to be doing something. I don't know what he would have to do to have forced his way into Gateshead's midfield. That's the thing at the moment. It's very strong, and we've brought new players and haven't even featured yet through injury. But when he left, it was a bit of a blow, wasn't it, Mickey?
When he signed for Halifax, I was thinking, why he went there? I was scratching my head, and I'm thinking. Then you think about it, and you think, well, is he going to push Bailey out? Is he going to push? He's not going to push Greg Ollie out. He's not going to push Dan Ward out. So you're thinking, well, yeah, fair enough. I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
obviously,
the players you mentioned, Kieran Green, I thought he was a great player.
Yeah, he never really got looking at Gateshead. Kieran Green.
Did he not? Kieran Green, he was one of our standout players. I know it took him a bit of time to settle in, but
he was very young and a rough diamond when he came to us. But it was one of those things where we weren't a club that was able to nurture a young player along at the time.
Yeah, I know you went through a lot of financial. Was it during when you were going through a lot of financial issues?
No, he was here. He was here a few seasons before that. I think he was about 18, 19 when he came to us, wasn't he?
I think Stevie Watson brought him in, didn't he?
He might have done, yeah. I think he come from Hartlepool, didn't he?
Yeah, he was at Hartlepool, yeah.
But
he was a good little player, Kieran Green. It's just a shame things went a bit awry. I think he wanted to play first team football as well. And I think he went up to Blythe, didn't he?
Yeah, he went up to Blythe, did well, then went to Europe. But as I say, obviously, Luke, I'm guessing you're a little bit younger than us. We've had some fantastic games over the years. I mean, for us, notably, we remember when you were in the Football League and we knocked you out in the FA Cup. That was a notable game for us at the Shea. But last time we were there, we got beat 1-0, opened up by a beautiful Jordan Preston goal. He did little else in the game, I must add. But
I do remember that game. I remember Jordan Preston as well scoring. Yeah. Is it? We always play you like Boxing Day, isn't it? It's that sort of time. Am I getting that mixed up of a call that we always used to play you around Boxing Day? It's a bit weird because thinking about it, Gateshead and Halifax, it's not actually that close, is it?
No, not really.
Well, at the minute, Halifax is probably the closest what we've got in the National League.
York. Probably York.
York as well.
Is that who you've got on Boxing Day this year, I'm guessing?
Yeah, York. It's only 80 miles.
Yeah, for a derby. But obviously, you'll be looking to hopefully turn things around. What's the general mood amongst the Halifax fans at the moment? Is it a bit of unrest, or can you see a light at the end of the tunnel at the minute?
I think prior to Scunthorpe away, the south stand, the stand behind the goal, it was getting really toxic. I'm not going to lie. You could sort of feel the atmosphere. The quietest that I've probably heard it, but not in a good way where the game just dead. It was generally just like, what are we doing? It was sort of like demoralising to see because of how good we've been in the past previous 3 seasons, in fact, under Pete Wild. And I think that was sort of the turning point. Well, I don't know if you could say the turning point, but the point where we really did start to realise, right, we need to get together, and we really do need to sort it out now going forward, because to be honest, at home to Notts County, it was very even until they scored, and then the confidence just dropped. And yeah, that seemed to be the problem. But yeah, I think it was good to get away from the Shea because of how the atmosphere was. It were quite toxic. Fans were turning, there were boos at full time. You really didn't like to see it. Fans saying, when they're clapping, and fans saying, just go away, we don't want to speak to you. But then to get away to somewhere like Scunthorpe on a away day, they're struggling themselves, and we played reasonably well. I still don't think it's been a top. I don't think we've seen that top performance yet. I think we are going to. I think there'll be a time. I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow where the floodgates will open. Because I think when this team does click, I think we'll be on it. I can see it in this squad. I know there's quality there, but going to Scunthorpe, we played pretty well. We still weren't really taking our chances, which has been a problem. And then getting a point away at Maidenhead, which is a bit of a bogey side for us, I must admit. It's a decent point. We want 3 points, but I'll take a point, especially if we can beat Hughes tomorrow. That'd be a perfect result because we still haven't won at home.
I can't remember the last time we beat you.
Yeah, you're a bit of a bogey here. We had a lot of draws with you over the years.
Yeah, it was always low scoring. I remember and all, like 1-1, 1-0. Yeah, it's got so. I think everyone's like thinking tomorrow it's going to be a draw, low scoring, 0-0 or 1-1, 1-0, something like that.
Oh, well, hopefully it's a bit more entertaining for the people that are going to be there.
Just one. Remember this player?
Brown. Is that I'm trying to think which one. Which Brown?
FA Trophy. Scored the winning penalty against Gateshead.
Oh yeah, lovely man.
Yes, I remember that night well as well.
Talking about that, how's Aaron Martin doing at your guys now? It was a decent little play for us up front. He came in a good side last season, I thought, and he was good with his feet, good at holding the ball up. Scored a goal away at Notts County, very well taken goal. And I was quite sad that we didn't sign him on, to be honest. How's he doing at your guys? I know he's been injured on it.
He's been injured away, but the 2 games he's played, he was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everyone looks and says that we lost, obviously, Macaulay Langstaff and Kedwin Scott, but he had he had something very different up front to what we had in those players. They liked the ball, especially Macaulay Langstaff, like to run onto the ball, like to run into running at defenders. Whereas he adds something very different, where he can hold the ball up, he can ping the ball up, he's good in the air. He doesn't shy away from a physical battle with a central defender. And I think, as you say, I think there's more to come from him. And I say, a very welcome addition from what I've seen so far. If you can carry on in the same vein, then you would see him getting goals very soon.
Seemed for us to be a bit of like a plan B, in fact. So if it wasn't going our way, and he's the sort of player you can bring on, to offer something different. In fact, like last season, I don't know if you remember him, but Billy Waters, he wasn't. I wouldn't say someone who could carry the ball forward and take on 3 plays. He was just always in the right areas.
Yeah,
and that seems to be something we're missing. So them crosses coming in, we're getting a lot of crosses in. I've noticed that based off data and stuff, and we're not taking him. And I know we signed Manny Di Sarue from Grimsby, and he hasn't lived up to expectation as of yet. He's not really hungry like he was in the playoffs, in the box, like what I've seen from him. Yeah. Where last season, although Billy Waters was very, very small, he'd always find little areas where he could niggle in, get at the back post, be in those right positions at the right time. That's how come he scored so many goals. But yeah, I think it'll be good when Warburton is back for us, which I'm hoping will be tomorrow, because we desperately need that attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I think we're hoping that Martin's back, just to add that, because we've had quite a few injuries. I think to have that option up front, because this year we've been crossing a lot of crosses into the box, and it is a more physical league. The players are bigger than what they were in the National League North, especially the defenders, and we need someone in the mix and pot like that that's going to be there to battle for them, because God bless our strikers, they're scoring goals, but the 5'8", if they're lucky, across the front, and they're not going to do very well in the aerial battles, but they need that big man up there. And of course, we've added Adi Yusuf as well into the mix. We haven't seen, I don't know if his
good signing.
So yeah, very positive going forward. It's just hopefully the game lives up to what we're all expecting, especially with missing the games at the weekend.
I think what? Oh, go on. Sorry. Carry on.
I say Halifax win, they'll jump above us.
Yeah.
So I know a couple of weeks ago we were above. It keeps changing, and you got that first win, which sort of scares me a little bit. You're getting that first win. Does it feel like it's clicked now at Gateshead?
Do you know
what? Have a lot of momentum.
What you might find silly is that we've clicked from day one. It's just we haven't put the ball in the back of the net. We've dominated side for large periods of the game. Even against Notts County, we looked as good. And Wrexham, even though we lost 3-1. Afterwards, it was just all praise from the Wrexham fans saying, "How did you, with 10 men, you come here and stifled were? You played the better football." So
we've had a lot of possession. I've noticed. Gateshead as well.
Yeah, it's
called the process.
Yeah, the manager calls it the process. That's the key word up here at the moment. But it should be good. But I'll ask you about your podcast. Obviously, people will be able to see your Twitter handle in your name there. So when do you broadcast? Do you have set days, or do you do it when you get guests lined up and things like that?
It's usually every Thursday evening live, and then I'll bring guests on. I've done tonight. I've been pre-recording with certain guests, and I try to. What I hate about the National League is when a certain side gets more coverage than another in the National League. So my aim is to try diverse it and bring every club into game. That's why I sort of started it. But I do it every Thursday. Just do pre-recorded. Well, I do a lot of pre-recorded interviews. Put them on the live, like I'm sure you do at times, and also bring people on live just to talk about anything to do with the National League. And I built up my knowledge over the summer because I decided, because I basically were doing what you're doing now, doing Halifax, dominant Halifax stuff, and I got to the point where I wanted to do something different. And obviously I've gone to the National League, and I've obviously built up all my knowledge of the National League now over the summer. And it's just taken off from there. But sometimes it can be on Sundays. Sometimes it's pre-recorded but streamed live on a Thursday as a premiere. It just all varies depending on times and stuff like that.
Yeah, I will say want everyone to like and subscribe Nook's channel. Get onto that. And I say he did have the Dorking manager chairman on the other week, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, good. He was a really nice guy, Mark.
Yeah. So like to say, have a look at that. We've got a message here by one of our listeners. One second, I'll quickly put that up. Colin Scott. It's with how's Halifax pitch? Cutting up badly a couple of weeks ago.
Don't blame the club, blame the council. That's all I can say.
We've been there.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know about Gateshead, but I think we both have the same sort of problem. We both have massive stadiums, I don't think either of us own them, do we?
No.
We don't own ours. So it's all to do with the council. And we share, I don't know, I'm sure you've probably had other events on, haven't you, at Gateshead Stadium before? I think it was Olympics, something like that. You had running or something like
that. The Diamond Athletics and things.
Something like that.
Also the Harriers shared stadium for training and events. But we've had rugby. We used to share it with Gateshead Thunder, and also Newcastle Falcons played there for a number of times. And it did used to cut
that pitch.
I know that seems to be the problem with us because we share it with Halifax Panthers, but I think what frustrates the football fans is the Shea historically is a football pitch and it's over 100 years old. Obviously, we developed it, when we had to basically up the stadium so we'd stay in the football league, so we wouldn't be, derelegated. And then obviously all the financial issues came with that because of how big the stadium was. And then we had to sell it to the council when we reformed. And I think the club sort of have the opinion, well, we don't really want to say anything about it because for all we know, they could just plant a B&Q on it or something like that. That's all it really takes. And it frustrates us. And what tends to happen is the start of the season, the pitch is really nice. And it's perfect. It's the proper, one of the best pitches in the league you'll probably get footballing surfaces. And then as the season goes on, it gets worse because the rugby kicks in and stuff like that. And especially in the winter months, it becomes less of a footballing sort of side, Halifax, to more of just hoof it up and hope for the best. And we always used to have to change the way we played. Where this season from the off, and I didn't even notice it because it didn't look that bad from how high up we are in the South Stand. But it's, I think it was a Notts County correspondent. I saw it on Twitter, and it looked dreadful. It was quite embarrassing, to be honest. I'm not being disrespectful to this club whatsoever, but Maidenhead's pitch would probably be better than that. I'm not going to lie. It was quite embarrassing, to be honest, to see that. And I think you can't use it.
10 years ago, 10 years ago, our pitch actually died, and we're playing Barrow on Boxing Day, and the ball was kicked in it. I think it was Mr. Boyd, Adam Boyd scored the winning goal in that game. But the ball was kicked from about the edge of the box, and it stuck in the mud and stopped on the goal line. That's how bad it was, and it got poked home. But the players, when they come off the pitch, said the pitch was rotten. It stunk. It was decomposing. It was just, and then we ended up playing home games at Boston, Carlisle. We were everywhere. So we know about bad pitches. It's
I'm sure you will. We had I think one point a long time ago, we had to share with Rochdale. I think well, not Rochdale. We went into Rochdale Stadium because of something to do with a share or something. I don't think the council actually prioritised the stadium. I don't think they prioritised the football club for the stadium. It seems to be all about the rugby. And Halifax, yes, we know our attendances are pretty poor for the population of the town. We've just probably got to, live with that. It is what it is. But, it seems like the council sort of turning away fans from that. Yeah. And it is becoming a problem. And, because it's council owned and because, we're not attracting 5,000, 6,000, like other sporting events can in other towns. Yeah. It seems that, the council aren't too fussed about the football club, and it's like it's just a problem for them, which is, quite poor, to be honest, from my perspective.
I think
because when Halifax are doing well, you get good crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to. I don't know what it is about Halifax. Like, you look at the history of our club. Obviously, we've reformed and everything, but you look at the history of our club and stuff. Look at some of the teams that we've faced, even the attendances we've had. We've had 37,000 before, back in I think 1951 against Tottenham, and now we barely can scrape 2,000. Yes, we're in the National League, but you'd be expecting a lot more than that. But I just don't think it gets out enough, the football club around the town. I don't think there's enough promotion about it. But I think what annoys me is you'll go to, like, let's say Wembley. We took 12,000 there. You think of, we had Charlie once in the National League North playoff final, and they were just under 8,000 there, for a game against Charlie. And I think Charlie brought about 1,000. So, we've attracted 7,000 in the playoffs before. So you just I can't really put my finger on what the problem is.
We've got that problem as well.
Is it Leeds? Yeah. Leeds' resurgence might have affected Halifax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Huddersfield as well, around near us as well. So yeah, there's a lot of problems. Bradford as well, and then Man City and Man United are only 40 minutes away over the Pennines, aren't they? So that doesn't help either.
No, it certainly doesn't. But someone was asking us to ask you before we came on air: is there any commentary available tomorrow for people that aren't able to travel?
Yeah, there is. It's on the Halifax. I don't know what the thing is, Mixel, but it does seem to cut out a bit sometimes. I will heads up, but yeah, it's good. It's good commentary.
Mixer.
Mixer. That's it. Yeah. I'll look forward to listening to your commentary as well when we make the journey up to Gateshead.
I wouldn't if I was he, because he does it and he's crap.
I don't get high pitched and scream at all. Hello to that one Maidstone fan that said I should give up and not squeal as much. What you want,
to be honest, he's doing really well, considering he's never done it before and he's self-taught. He's done really well.
Yeah,
make us blush.
I'm not throwing any more smoke up your grinner, mate.
Well, Luke, just before we go, do you want to give away your social media so people can follow and subscribe to your channel?
Yeah. On Twitter, it is Vanarama National League Podcast. On YouTube, it's VNL Podcast. I'm on Instagram, but I don't particularly bother with that. Like I've mentioned, just weekly shows. Like to get people's opinions. Like people getting involved with that live chat and stuff like that. I enjoy it, and that's why I really do it, to be honest, just to being to be active with fans across the country, and even now when you look at Wrexham across the globe, in fact.
I know. We had a lad on from the Rex. I forgot his name now. Forgive us. Nathan from the Rob Ryan Red podcast, and they say that they're living the dream at the minute, aren't they? The influx of and
then there's our two clubs, isn't there, that are still don't own a stadium, struggle with financial issues. Yeah, that's the difference, isn't it?
And you know what will happen? We'll both beat them at home this season.
we need some.
And we'll make it into the documentary when they take snippets from our podcast. But Luke, thank you very much. An absolute
cheers for having me on. I've really enjoyed it.
Nice
one. Luke, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a grand job, son. And for someone so young, well done.
Yes.
Cheers. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it.
There we go. Cheers. Thank you. See you later. Bye.
Take care.
There we go. Luke, fantastic guest to have on. And Joey's put top man. It certainly was great to have him on.
Just before to see young people like that.
It is.
So enthusiastic.
Obviously doing the same as us, and he's got a bright future ahead of him because he started earlier than us as well. So he'll be able to take it further, hopefully. And he's covering all the league and getting people on. So right, like and subscribe, everybody.
Always makes me giggle.
No, just a little thing about that vicious little son of mine.
What he done do?
Honestly, back is in bits. It's my own fault, right? I'm a sado. You can see me wrestling toys behind us. I like watching AEW wrestling, and obviously the kids see it on. Now, Jack has found the art of wrestling fun, and he'd be like, "Come on, Dad, let's wrestle," and he beat the living out of me the other day. And my back is in bits. You wouldn't think a 4-year-old could just absolutely destroy us, but yes, turns out Dad's soft as anyway. So we've got a message from Frankie Hill, smashing lad, very knowledgeable, breath of fresh air. It is.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he, Frankie? To be totally agree.
See, I had noticed him around for a while. He did ask us to go on his show, and I wasn't able to. Hopefully, I can return the favour. He's sent a message there. Cheers for having me on, lads. Thumbs up. Great. Thank you for coming on. Luke, it was an absolute pleasure. There is another game this week. Obviously, we won't be able to broadcast later in the week. We were unable to. But Boreham Wood at home on Saturday. The return of Jamal Fifield. Very strong team. They've been strong in the National League for about 4 or 5 years now. This is going to be a big test. Big test at home.
It's going to be a test and a half. I mean, Halifax, let's not get wrong, Halifax is a bogey team, so that's still going to be a test.
Yeah.
But Boreham Wood, I think, are in the top 5 as well.
Yeah. They're a very solid side. They had a good FA Cup run last year. They are a solid unit. And Mr. Lucas, but Heat Army Wrestling coming soon. Nope.
Oh.
No. Tell you what, there is coming soon, though. I can give you a little sneak peek. Mickey's already seen. 1 second. Oh, there we go. 1 second. I'll just go. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. Heat Army podcast hats for the winter. Ooh. So we will do a proper advert on them once we get the
made ones as well.
Yeah, once we get the badge. Oh yes, the handmade. Once we get the badges on them. Ooh, wait for a beautiful advert of Mickey wearing nothing but the hat, strutting through Saltwell Park. Just the hat. And we were thinking about making willy warmers, but the wife hasn't got knitting needles small enough. So
especially in the winter.
Yeah.
Thimbles. Can you knit a thimble?
The challenge is out there.
I'm sure Meg Baker's watching. Meg, can you knit thimbles?
Yeah. So we've got 1 second. We've got Nudlove has signed for Boreham Wood from Brackley.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is, and so see, he's doing well there. Seems to be settled in at that level. We know what he's going to be like. And Trina has she put a laughing face there, So obviously we don't know if my wife can make a willy warmer that small, but the challenge is there. Yeah, she said she's got a tiny machine to do it, so we'll see.
Well, that's just sorted.
Yeah, so we're not gonna have to get together, Mickey, and have a little measure up. So,
size you for a $5.
But yeah, the preview of the hat. It's going to be in the away colours. That the light doesn't do the colours justice, but it's going to be in the away colours. There we go. So the Heat Army podcast hat. There will be more to come from that in future weeks. So,
and for those of you who've got a bit of appendage, just use the wool off the hat.
Yeah, and also child's hats as well. Look at that. Oh, hey, we're going to have the whole family kitted out in. I nearly said Willy Warmers there in hats.
I'd love to see you laying dry Willy Warmer on.
Well, I'll size her up for it later. We've got Boreham Wood, Mr. Lukes, but Boreham Wood have signed some real good players, such as Danny Elliott from Boston. Of course, there was rumours we could have been in for him. Lee Anderson from Brackley and Eric Sosa from Grimsby Town. So yeah, Boreham were a strong unit last year. They've signed players in, they've strengthened, but so have Gateshead, and it should be a very good game. And hopefully we can go on. It will be. Hopefully, we can go into that game on the back of getting something from Halifax. I would take a point, but I would prefer 3 points, of course, as you always would. But if you can get a point on the road and then pick up more points at home, you can't complain. But the way we played against Maidstone, hopefully that the game off due to the passing of the Queen, of course, at the weekend, has maybe give a little bit more time for players with knocks to get a little bit more. Recuperation in, a little bit more training, a little bit more gym time, and the squad selection is hopefully a headache for the management on the weekend and tomorrow.
I'd love to see Jarvis on the bench.
Yeah,
ease him in gently. Just be great to see Dan Jarvis on the bench tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. And also hopefully Adi Yusuf and Martin as well. To have, if we're either one starts or both start or whatever, and the cover you're going to have on the bench, the way we can change and adapt our way we're going to attack games, because that's one thing. At the minute, with having Martin out, we've only really got one way of breaking them down. You're going to have an aerial threat if we can bring in Yusuf or Martin in games going forward. So, and especially the way them lads can cross the ball in. I mean, Gallagher looked fantastic.
He was excellent today against Maidstone. I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
And we're talking about players who start the season well. I've yet to see Robbie Tinker have a bad game again.
I don't think he's ever had one in his life. We've got one here.
Wrexham, but
yeah, we're not talking about that. Mr. Lucas, I'd like to say how brilliant Will Harris was against Maidstone. He came into the squad and he got used to it very well. Yeah, he did all right against Maidstone. He's
pardon there.
He's one of them people that you just hope can get a goal soon. Settle him down and get him. I'm not going to say up to speed, but get him. Just settled a little bit more, and the goal always helps a striker.
Oh, definitely. I mean, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1.
3-1. Yeah, I think we're going to pick up where we left off on Saturday. I'd like to think so.
I'm going ones each.
Ones each. Well, we'll put that out to everyone in the chat as well. If you'd like to give us how many goals, what your prediction is for tomorrow, the away trip to Halifax. I'm sure Mr. Luke will DM us the link for the commentary. We'll be able to put that out tomorrow. Even lads, great 4-1 win over Maidstone. Great performance. We could have scored at least 7 for me. We tried our hardest to get Blackett a hat trick. We certainly did. It would have been the ice on the cake, but Blackett was just. I'm really pleased for Blackett. I mean, obviously the episode's named after him, Blackett and Black. A little play on AC/DC there, but no, the lads stepped up. He had a bad end to the season, really. Injury wise throughout that campaign, but look, bided his time. He's come back strong. And he's scoring goals at the top level of non-league football, and doesn't look out of place. We've got more predictions coming in. Mr. Lux went 2-1 Gateshead. Facebook user that's obviously from the Heed Army, Gates FC Heed Army Facebook group. We've put it into there tonight to entice people to come over to watch either on the Heed Army podcast page or on YouTube. And say this is one of the problems when you broadcast, you can't get the Facebook name up there of who commented, not through one to hear anyway. So this Facebook users went 1-0 to Gateshead, of course, and 1-1 draw from Joseph. So you can send in yours, still time to do it. I say we thought we were only going to go for 40 minutes, but we had a great guest in Mr. Luke Walsh. So if y'all just joined us, please do go back and watch from the beginning. And we had a great chat with Luke, the Halifax fan.
Shock horror, we're on the telly.
Ah, yes, I know. Yes, on the 24th, 3 p.m. kickoff away to Maidenhead, BT Sport. So there you go. Look at that. Made it onto the telly. Hopefully we put
killing two birds with one stone, so they don't have to watch either for the rest of the season and now.
Yeah, it felt like an afterthought, didn't it, when they announced that one? But apparently it's Sam Pelton that's been sending messages on from the group. So thank you, Sam. So no, going to be on TV. Hopefully we'll be able to broadcast before that one. I have reached out to one of the presenters from the National League coverage from BT. They have read the message, so hopefully they'll come back and they'll get them on beforehand. Mr. Luke's, but also Maidenhead game is on BT Sport. It certainly is, just what we said. Also, good mention to Greg Ollie. His goal was superb. His all-round play was superb. I mean, you'd probably be the first one to admit that he hadn't found the heights of the way he was playing last season. You know, maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe just finding his range, aiming for new players up front. He had a fantastic communication with Kedwin and Macaulay Langstaff. He's got new players to aim at, and his range, I would say, was just a little bit off in some games, but he's back. You know, he's got himself in there, and that performance was, I think, what the captain needed, what the club needed.
Well, I think you're being a bit harsh on him there because Wrexham, apparently, by all accounts, he was really good there as well.
Yeah. I'm not trying to downgrade his achievements. I'm just saying that it was nice to see, especially at home, to see him back to the Greg Ollie that we know and love. That was and I'm sure there is more to come from that as well. We've got a message here. Been really impressed with number 5. I think it's Richardson. He's looked good at the back. He has. I'm hoping his injury isn't too bad. I haven't seen anything to contradict that. So hopefully he's back in contention tomorrow night. He's been an absolute rock. Come in, and I'm looking forward to it, whatever lineup it is at the back. It's going to be an exciting lineup there. Story
well.
Yeah, and then you've got Jevon Mills, as I say, made a good cameo when he came on, looked solid. That we carried on where we left off when Kent Richardson left the pitch in that Maidstone game. So it's all looking positive, all looking good. Still got time for you to send in your predictions. I've went 3-1. What did you say there, Mickey?
1 each.
1 each. So Mickey's going a little bit more reserved. I'm going right out on it. But yeah, so fantastic stuff. Right.
Cameos, Davey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Jevon Mills. Come on, he put a good cameo in, and Larry Hassani.
Yeah, Larry Hassani.
He come on and done all right now.
Now, talking about some good players, let's talk about a great player, and a player that did the club and the foundation very proud on Sunday. There he is, Ben Clark. He ran the Great North Run in 1 hour 44 minutes. Great time, and hopefully raised a lot of money for the foundation. And I say that's just Ben Clark summed up in a photo. What a lovely bloke. He's always got a smile on his face, and he's just a legend in my eyes. Just
he's not a great player, he's a legend.
Yeah. It's so well done to Ben, and always he's done the club proud on the pitch, in the dugout, and behind the scenes, and in the foundation. What a man! Let's build a statue to this man outside the stadium. Also, as well, we've been working on Lego statue, because you don't have to buy the hair for the Lego man. Anyway, Like, look at that, we're working on you. Look at this, man. Look at that. I was going for a laugh, going to make Langley like 4 foot taller than everybody else on this little graphic. But there you go. Subscribe, everybody. Subscribe and share. It'd be great. And say we've been working on new things. So if we are talking about Mike Williamson, we can go, boom, there he is between me. Look at that, Mickey. Gorgeous. We can both lean in and give him a kiss. We'll work out the logistics.
I'd be delighted with that.
He will. Right. We've got some more messages here. When is Martin back? I'm presuming he'll be back in contention tomorrow, whether it's from the bench or not. He was going through a fitness test before Maidstone, quite a vigorous one, and he looked like he was moving all right. So I was potentially thinking he'd be back for the Chesterfield game or in some way, but we'll see. I'm sure there'll be some.
Halifax.
Sorry,
Bournemouth. You said Chesterfield.
Yeah, but that's who we're going to be playing last weekend. That's what I'm saying. I thought you meant Chesterfield.
Sorry.
Another message here. We've always had good games against Halifax. Remember the 3-3 draw back in the Mills days when Madison turned the game around and Marwood grabbed the equaliser. We know what that game kick-started. And also as well here, any more news on the ladies team? I see the manager has stepped down due to other commitment. Well, on that front, at the moment, it is Ian Watson with help with Rob Elliott. At the moment, they're training the girls until a manager comes in. The team, unfortunately, had to forfeit the first game, I believe. There wouldn't have been a game this weekend, so they'll be looking to get the next game on soon, and a new manager in place, and obviously new additions to the team. But the ladies' team is here, and it's here to stay. That's the most important things, Mickey.
It is. I'm delighted for the lasses. Some who were going to go are still here. I think we've lost about 4, but they've got some new signings in who, by all accounts, are really good players as well. The really good players we've got.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, when things settle down and they get back on the pitch, and we'll be able to watch the lasses again. It's fantastic because them lasses have given nothing less than 100% for their 2 seasons they've played.
And they've had successful seasons. Let's not forget.
One championship, 1 promotion. What do you want in 2 seasons?
And a cup. There was a cup in there as well, wasn't it? Didn't they do a double on the first season? Or did they get to the final? I can't remember.
We didn't get. No, we got to the quarter final or the semi-final against South Shields.
Any plans lined up for player interviews, lads? Yes. Whether or not it's live or not, the moment I'm going to put the feelers out on Saturday when I speak to Jack, hoping to get some interviews out recorded, whether either in person with them or live on the show. Preferably would like to get some where they aren't live, because in the event of like what happened this week, when we haven't been able to put out the shows we want to have banked episodes, like a pre-record that we can put out in the event of not having a live show on, just where it can just be interviews and topical things like that, and just getting to know players, because we want to keep the show regular. If we can't do it live, which sometimes happens, we still want the show to be in the place. We want to give you viewers and subscribers something, because you stick with us. We want to keep giving you content. So hopefully we can sit down with some players, get some interviews and some footage from training and things like that. And we want to build that up, and also be able to use stuff like that in the build up for the commentaries as well. We want to make it more of an event. We don't want it to take away from actually coming to the game on a match day. But if you can't make it, or if you're ill or working or abroad, we want you to have the next best experience, and that comes from content and use interacting and liking and subscribing. That's how it goes. That's how the show will build, and we need yous with us. That's the main thing. So yeah, big thank you to everyone that has sent in messages. Thank you to Luke. We're going to wrap it up a little bit early. Mickey, thank you very much. Always love doing it with you and the podcast.
Well, the feeling's mutual, pet.
Oh, well, on that note of a love-in, thank you to everyone that has messaged in. Thank you to Luke, the Halifax fan. If you're travelling down tomorrow, have a safe trip. Enjoy yourself. We'll endeavour to put the commentary link out when we get it tomorrow. And, just remember, like, subscribe, and get along on Saturday and cheer on the lads against Boreham Wood, because that is going to be a slobber knocker of a game. So really looking forward to it. So we'll see you all next time. Thank you very much. And rightio, we'll play the outro.
Okay, everyone.
Bye.